Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, I will introduce you an excellent paper named Are Facilities to Support Alternative Modes Effective in Reducing Congestion? Modeling the Effect of Heterogeneous Traffic Conditions on Vehicle Delay at Intersections. Whose author is Swapnil R. Kodupaganti. First of all, I will show you the abstract of this paper. This study focuses on assessing the effect of heterogeneous traffic conditions involving multiple modes, like light rail transit (LRT), walking, bicycling, and motorized traffic on vehicle delay at intersections, using Vissim traffic simulation software. A 2.5-mile urban arterial corridor comprising of 7 at-grade and to-grade separated, signalized intersections along US-29 route in the city of Charlotte, NC, USA was chosen for analysis and modeling. Base simulation model was developed by replicating the traffic scenario for the year 2018 without LRT and non-motorized traffic. External controllers like VisVAP and Viswalk were used to assign signal priority and model heterogeneous traffic conditions. The vehicle operational performance of the corridor improved along the major street after the addition of the LRT. An increase in vehicle delay on the major street was observed, with an increase in the non-motorized traffic. Contrarily, the operational performance of the cross streets at grade intersections did not see any significant change due to the addition of non-motorized traffic. The proposed framework assists planners to assess the impact of adding a new transit system like LRT and associated non-motorized traffic on the urban corridor. What's more, I will introduce the methodology. The methodology adopted involves the following steps: study area and data collection, data processing, developing a calibrated simulation model and simulation scenarios. Firstly, a 2.5-mile stretch of the new extension that extends from University City BLVD to UNC Charlotte main campus was considered for simulation analysis in this study. The portion highlighted in red color in Fig. 1 indicates the stretch with LRT running parallel to Tryon St. This stretch was primarily considered due to heterogeneous conditions that arise with the LRT and other alternative modes, park and ride facilities, and at grade intersections. 2 of them are grade-separated intersections, while the other 7 are at grade intersections. The grade-separated intersections of EWT Harris, BLVD and University City, BLVD have an overpass for LRT. In other words, vehicles, pedestrians and bicyclists do not interact with the LRT at these 2 intersections. The LRT does not intersect with the Mallard Creek Church RD intersection. The turning movement counts and traffic signal data were obtained from the City of Charlotte Department of Transportation. Pedestrian data was collected at 6 intersections where the LRT is operating at grade. Secondly, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation has developed a tool to minimize the imbalances and adjust the corresponding vehicular volumes along the corridor. The vehicular volumes for all the intersections are fed into the macro-enabled Excel sheet as raw data. The vehicles already in the network, vehicles entering the network, vehicles exiting the network, and vehicles making U-turns are all required to balance the vehicular volumes. These vehicular volumes are initially balanced using the vehicular volume balancing tool. The difference in the entering and exiting vehicular volumes at 2 successive intersections is distributed proportionally based on their corresponding vehicular volumes. The tool runs multiple iterations, maximum of 500, adjusting the vehicular volumes until the differences in vehicular volumes are minimal. In spite of applying the process, vehicular volume imbalances persist in most of the cases. but they are lower in magnitudes. These imbalances are further adjusted manually to improve the degree of precision. The vehicular volume balancing tools state that an error of less than 3.0 is considered highly acceptable, whereas 3.0 to 4.9 is considered acceptable. Any error greater than 5.0 necessitates further refinement. The balancing at the corridor level was performed with minimal errors using the above-mentioned procedure. A maximum error of 4.2 was reported for the LRT study corridor. Thirdly, aerial images of the LRT study corridor and cross streets were used in the background of Vissim traffic simulation software to build the road network and replicate the geographical offsets between traffic signals. Travel time and speed data were used to generate cumulative distribution function curves S-curves and reflect the speeds of the vehicles in the LRT study corridor. Fig. 3 shows the phases and timings for the evening peak period for each selected intersection along the LRT study corridor. The cycle length is 150 seconds. The yellow time varied between 3 and 5 seconds while the red clearance varied between 2 and 5 seconds based on the turning movement type and geometric characteristics. As shown in Fig. 4. The first interstage is active when there is no LRT, and the second interstage is allocated in the presence of the LRT. When the check-in detector identifies the presence of an LRT, it calls the signal controller, forcing it to change to the second interstage. The second interstage stays active until the checkout detector detects the LRT. The second interstage gives priority to the mainline movement. While this is advantageous to the through and right turning traffic movements that run parallel to the LRT system on and Tryon St. The vehicles on the cross streets experience added delays, as they also have to yield to the pedestrians crossing and Tryon Street in the given green time as shown in Fig. 5. Fig. 6 shows the vehicle delay captured at an intersection by turning movement. The delay measurement points for the through and right turning movement at the intersection is summarized into delay measurement for the through movement. The delay measurement for left turning traffic is summarized as delay measurement for the left turning movement, as labeled in Fig. 6. Last but not least, for simulation scenarios were developed to understand the effect of heterogeneous traffic conditions on the operational performance of vehicles. Vehicular traffic with LRT is Scenario 1. A frequency of 8 is possible in the peak hour with a difference in departure time of 420 seconds between consecutive LRT start times. Only LRT trains along with vehicular traffic were assumed to operate in this scenario. Pedestrians and bicyclists were not. Vehicular traffic with LRT and pedestrians is Scenario 2. Most of the pedestrians follow a platoon movement. There is minimal to no signal timing preemption for pedestrians. The pedestrians typically use the same green time assigned to the non-conflicting vehicular movement. Vehicular traffic with LRT, pedestrians, and bicyclists is Scenario 3. This scenario focuses on heterogeneous conditions that arises with vehicles, LRT, pedestrians, and bicyclists. The bicyclists were observed to use the green time assigned to the vehicular movement and pedestrians. Increase or decrease in vehicular traffic with LRT, pedestrians, and bicyclists is Scenario 4. The effect of an increase or decrease in the vehicular volume by 15% due to multimodal activity was simulated and compared with Scenario 3. The pedestrian counts and bicycle counts were kept same as in Scenario 3. Next we will concentrate on the results. Fig. 7 shows the vehicle delays at the corridor level for the simulation scenario of vehicular traffic with LRT. Fig. 8 shows the vehicle delays at the corridor level for the simulation scenario of vehicular traffic with LRT, pedestrians, and bicyclists. The corridor evaluation was captured during the simulation run for both the simulation scenarios to identify the locations where vehicles experience more delay. The analysis was performed for the evening peak. The last part of this paper is the conclusions. To assess the effects, scenarios with an increase or decrease in vehicular volumes after the addition of LRT were considered. The increase in pedestrian activity increases the vehicle delay on the major street approaches along the travel direction of LRT, and also the major street turning movements conflicting the travel direction of LRT. The green time for the pedestrians to cross the road along the minor streets is higher than the green time for pedestrians trying to cross the road on major streets due to the addition of the LRT. The intersections close to the LRT stations experienced highest increase in vehicle delay under heterogeneous traffic conditions. To control variables like signal timings and assess only the effect of heterogeneous conditions on vehicle delay, signal timings for each scenario were not optimized. The possibility of reducing congestion through signal timing optimization at each selected intersection and corridor level should be explored and compared. In the future, the vehicular traffic with LRT and bicyclist scenario was not considered, as only a few bicyclists were observed in the field. Also, the bicyclists share the same signal phasing as the vehicular traffic. There was no impact on delays due to these reasons. However, the provision of LRT could attract more bicyclists at some corridors and merits investigation. In the future, two-dimensional movements of vehicles in intersections is neglected when modeling using Vissim traffic simulation software.